10 years ago, some gates that link the real world to alternate dimensions, called dungeon breaks, appeared and brought magic beasts with them who can't get hurt by ordinary weapons but by the magic abilities of some people called hunters. Hunters are divided into 6 ranks based on their magical powers in their bodies. 3 years ago, 4 S rank hunters, Yungu, Jinho, Yunseok and Choi, fought some ant-type magic beasts at Jeju Island. Now, some hunters, including the main guy Jinwoo, were getting ready to raid a dungeon break. Jinwoo is the E rank hunter and is so noob that he's called the weakest hunter of all mankind. Song, the leader of that raid, led them all inside, where Jinwoo found a cheap essence stone and got healed by the B rank healer, Jui, who was also his close friend. Essence stones and other dungeon resources are valuable for creating weapons and stuff. Song defeated the boss of that dungeon, and a guy found another dungeon that was connected to that one, so they all went there after voting. An S rank hunter, Cha Hae-in, did a useful backflip to stop some robbers and left. Song's group reached the second dungeon and found some statues with the biggest one sitting on the throne. There were 3 commandments written there. Suddenly the door closed, so a guy went to check but got killed by the guard statue. The biggest statue killed more of them too by shooting laser with its eyes. They all started following the commandments: worship a god, praise the god and believe the god by treating the biggest statue as one. The statue smiled, stood up and started coming towards them, so one of the hunters started praising it by following the second commandment but still got killed. Jinwoo figured out that commandment and told everyone to go near a musical instrument statue, so they did, which played those instruments, which made the biggest statue sit back on its throne. Jinwoo lost his right leg. Suddenly the biggest statue brought out a sacrificial altar in the middle. The third and final commandment was to believe in God, so they all went to the altar, which produced yellow fire according to their numbers and blue fire according to the remaining time. The door opened and the statues around them started coming near them, so Jinwoo sacrificed himself by letting other hunters leave and got beaten by the statues around. The statues put him on the altar while the last blue fire stopped. Suddenly Jinwoo saw a notification that he had passed the secret quest, the courage of the weak, and had qualified to become a player. In 0.02 seconds, Jinwoo accepted to become the player. Suddenly he woke up after 3 days in a hospital and all his body parts were fine. Jinchul and Teshik, the inspectors from the Korean Hunters Association, met him and told him that when the hunters came to save him, the dungeon was already gone and he was lying completely healed. It was revealed that ordinary people need awakening to gain magical powers, but sometimes some hunters get a second awakening that increases their abilities so much that they can go to A or S ranks. Jinchul and Teshik checked if Jinwoo received any second awakening, but he hadn't, so they left. Jinwoo wondered what that notification screen was on top of him, while his sister, Jinho, also visited him. Jinwoo then figured out that the screen wasn't controlled by hand but by words and came to know that he had to complete some daily quests or he'd receive a penalty. He ignored it and went to eat, but when the time was up he got teleported to a desert where he had to survive for 4 hours against some giant desert centipedes. After 4 hours of continuously running, he teleported back to the hospital and received a reward. Next day Jui visited him and saw him running around completing his daily quest. He received rewards of full recovery, 3 ability points to apply on 5 abilities, and a key that would lead him to a special dungeon called Instance Dungeon. 4 years ago, Jinwoo and Jinna's mother caught a rare eternal sleep disease, a disease that came into existence when gates started appearing, so after getting awakening, Jinwoo became a hunter to earn money. Now he reached the Instance Dungeon location, opened it with a key, and went inside. Well, the entrance closed and he was in another dimension. Fought some goblins, defeated them easily, pulled out a sword from inventory to defeat some steel fanged lycans, got healed and leveled up to 2. Then sold the fangs of those lycans and got 20 gold, killed a bunch of more lycans, got wolf assassin title, and received a lot of items including a teleportation stone. Went further, killed more beasts, and figured out that white, orange and red colors determine how strong a beast is compared to you. Then went to the basement where he fought the boss, Blue Venom Fanged Kasaka, that gave him a hard time because of its strength, speed and durability, but in the end he defeated it and received a C rank dagger made of that boss's fangs. The dungeon ended. Jinwoo came out and came to know that some beasts came out of the nearby dungeon break in public, so he threw his broken sword at the boss from a distance, which let other hunters kill it. Some days later, Jinwoo got released from the hospital and went to a C rank dungeon to pay the house rent. Dongsuk was the leader of that raid, and they only needed 8 people for the raid, so accepted anyone who applied, including a rich kid, Jinho. They went inside, fought some insect-type beasts, went further, and found sellable mana crystals. While the dungeon boss was sleeping, suddenly Dongsuk's group betrayed Jinwoo and Jinho by sealing the entrance to let them die by the spider boss, so they could get all that mana crystals for themselves according to the contract. Jinwoo fought the spider boss with his C rank dagger and used his different stored skills and moves, while the spider boss used its strength and poison to fight, and in the end, Jinwoo defeated it using the dagger. Dongsuk's group returned, thought that Jinho defeated the boss, and were going to kill Jinwoo and Jinho. Suddenly Jinwoo got an urgent quest where he had to kill all 6 of them. One by one, he started killing them with his dagger and killed Dongsuk too, even though he warned him about his brother. The dungeon ended, Jinwoo and Jinho came out, and no one knew what happened in there. Few days later, Jinho met Jinwoo again and asked him to fight 19 more raids with him as he wanted to become a guild master for his father, Maingan's construction company. Jinho decided to give Jinwoo 30 billion, but Jinwoo still didn't agree and left. Wang, the brother of Dongsuk, came to know that Jinwoo and Jinho were the only survivors of the dungeon where Dongsuk died, so decided to go after them. Jinwoo reached his daily quest goal, but they were still going up, so after training more, they doubled and gave him a secret quest, strength training. He received a key to the S-rank demon's castle dungeon, where one of the rewards would be an elixir of life which can heal any kind of illness. Jinwoo decided to go to get it for his mother, and remembered that 3 years ago when some S-rank hunters fought in the S-rank dungeon at Jeju Island, they lost. Jinwoo entered the dungeon, where he fought the boss, Hell's gatekeeper Cerberus, using his dagger and other skills, but all of Cerberus Cerberus's abilities doubled and lowered Jinwoo's health a lot. Cerberus then caught Jinwoo in its mouth, but he kept stabbing and stabbing the dagger in its eye until it fell down and lost consciousness. Jinwoo 1 received a castle door key and the elixir of life, which needed 3 more items to craft. Those items were in the demon's castle, but Jinwoo left the dungeon to get stronger first to enter there later. He accepted Jinho's offer to fight in his dungeons to level up more. Mayangan, the father of Jinho, wanted to get resources from the dungeons. That's why he was forming a guild from his Yujin construction company. Yunho, the guild master of one of the strongest guilds called Hunter's Guild, who was at Jeju Island 3 years ago, told Yunho, an S-class hunter, that after they lost their raid at Jeju Island, the island got sealed, but now he wants to go back there for round 2. Jinwoo and some other hunters from episode 1 reunited for a dungeon raid. Suddenly 3 C-rank prisoners, supervised by Hunter Association's B-rank Teshik, arrived to help them in the raid to reduce their sentence. Song became the leader. All 9 of them went inside the dungeon, killed some NPCs, and split into 3 groups. Teshik remembered that a guy told him that because of those 3 prisoners his daughter died and his wife got sent to the hospital, so he wanted Teshik to kill them inside the dungeon. Kim and Kang arrived there and saw Teshik killing those prisoners, so Teshik killed them too. Jinwoo's group arrived after hearing their screams but got attacked by Teshik as he wanted to get rid of all the evidence. Song got strength boost from Jui and fought Teshik but lost. Jinwoo then fought Teshik, had realized that killing humans is Teshik's fetish, suddenly got a task to kill Teshik because of his bloodlust toward Jinwoo. Jinwoo then used his different skills like poison and healing to fight, and in the end, used murderous intent to scare Teshik to stab him with his dagger. Teshik died, Jinwoo defeated the boss, and the remaining 3 came out. The manager of the Hunter Association surveillance team, Jinchul, met the survivors, while Song understood that Jinwoo was hiding his powers for a reason, so said that he was the one who defeated Teshik, the assassin who killed people for fun. The man who hired Teshik turned himself in. Jui retired to go back to her hometown, and Jinchul told Jinwoo that the S-rank hunter Wang, the brother of Dongsuk, is after him and Jinho. Jinho and Jinwoo then went to raid multiple C-rank dungeons with some people who weren't strong enough to fight in raids, including Song Yi, a friend of Jinwoo's sister Jinna. Jinwoo and Jinho started clearing dungeons one after another. Jinho gathered resources, Jinwoo kept leveling up and received a job change quest notification for reaching a required level. At White Tiger Guild, one of the top Korean guilds, the manager, An, came to know about all of Jinwoo's accomplishments and figured out that he received a second awakening, so went to hire him with his assistant Kichul. Choi got a nightmare about Jeju Island and got ready to go there for a raid. An met Jinwoo and asked him to join the White Tiger Guild, but Jinwoo asked for a huge amount of money which he couldn't pay, so scared him to not spy on him anymore and told him that he wouldn't go for 3 dungeon breaks if he'd give him 600 million won. An agreed as he had to send his guild members for raids there too, got healed by Jinwoo and promised to keep everything a secret. Next day An came to know that he bought gates from Jinwoo, even though there were more gates available in the market for 70 million won cheaper. Jinwoo texted him and told him that the scam was for spying on him, while An was glad that he got his phone number for future contact. Jinwoo then reached an empty area for the job change quest, entered the dungeon, and fought some durable knights. Jinho's brother, Jinsing, was failing to hire S-rank hunters, so decided to hire hunters from Europe and the Middle East for the Yujin Construction Guild. Jinwoo fought knight stealthers, light magic users and archers, and after defeating them received B-rank armor, so wore it and reached the boss room. Yunho gathered some hunters, including S-rank Chahae-in, and started going to the Jeju Island for the raid. Igris the Bloodred, the boss of the dungeon, fought Jinwoo with his super speed and gut sword, and both then fought in hand-to-hand combat. Igris's attacks were strong, and the armor and defense skills saved Jinwoo, and in the end they used their weapons to fight again, so Jinwoo stabbed Igris's throat multiple times to kill him. Jinwoo received a teleportation stone, and the dungeon wasn't ending. Suddenly a lot of NPCs from that dungeon started arriving to fight Jinwoo. His teleportation stone fell, and he met his past self in his imagination who called him weak from the inside. Suddenly his daily quest time went up and he got teleported to the penalty zone. Giant desert centipedes arrived. Jinwoo defeated them easily this time, bought the night killer weapon, used the rune stone that would let him physically manipulate objects without touching them, and got teleported back to the dungeon after 4 hours. He figured out that the magicians were summoning the knights, so he defeated them as well as the giant golem, and passed the dungeon. As a reward, he got the ability to summon the souls of the beasts he defeats to fight under his order, so he got some NPC guards and Igris's souls under him as they were subscribed to the channel. In the final scene, Yunho's group reached Jeju Island and found out that the magic beasts there were evolving. Thanks for sticking till the end. If you enjoyed, then like, subscribe, join my Patreon, and check out my other videos too.